I have made it to Dallas, Texas to collaborate with some amazing people and artists. And today on the show, we have a best-selling author, R&B artist, public figure, and one that inspires many. Natalie Nicole, the one and only. How are you, Natalie?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. You know, we have a little background. You allowed me to interview you on Zoom when I was that 19-year-old kid who was trying to do what we're doing today.
Right.
And I wanted to thank you for giving me that opportunity and taking a chance on me.
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Now it's a full circle moment.
It is a full circle moment. How are you?
I'm
wonderful. A lot has happened.
I know. Goodness. So much in, what, 5 years?
Yes, 5 years. Still no growth spurt, but we're working on it.
I'm working on that too.
Yes. Can you give the audience a little background on who you are
Absolutely.
and what you do?
I'm a singer-songwriter, best-selling author. I'm an actress, an entrepreneur. And my goal is to make sure that I tell my story, my testimony, while I create and be exactly who I am.
So the thing that attracts me to people is authenticity, and you do it incredibly well. You're very genuine,
Thank you.
You're very authentic, and you're very purpose-driven. Where do you think that comes from?
I always, give the credit to my mom. She is my stronghold, and she taught me to be myself, work hard, and never give up. So her. She deserves all the credit.
Amazing. Mom, you did a great job with her.
Credit.
She came out amazing. Can you fill the audience in on a little bit of background story? Because when you chase your passion, you're always tested on how bad do you want it, right?
Right.
I've learned that this last couple of years. Like, how bad do you want it? The universe will do everything to really test you. How bad do you want it? And I feel you were beyond tested. And not only were you beyond tested, but you persevered through to inspire many.
Right. So what I think you're referring to is when I was homeless.
Yes.
So I was homeless in LA, and during that time, you would think that would be like the most detrimental time in your life, like why, like sad and exhausting and all the things. But for me, it was a reflective time. And I was in my car a lot, just literally thinking and trying to just fix things in me that needed to be fixed. And it was like a therapy session for 11 months. So I grew in that time, and I relied on God, and I just knew that I was going to get through it somehow. And then, of course, we ended up getting discovered by Nick Cannon. So yeah, we got through.
Can you highlight a little bit about how you got discovered by Nick Cannon?
Yeah, so he had like this contest on Instagram and SoundCloud where you had to write a song or a verse to one of his records. So that's what I did, and I didn't have any of the fancy stuff, the nice cameras or anything, so I sang live the verse that I wrote in my back seat. So I think that's what caught his attention. I was doing it live, and I was in my sweats in my back seat singing a song.
You do sing amazingly.
Thank you.
You're extremely talented. What do you think your biggest lesson, or, you said reflection. I've been doing a lot of reflection recently.
Right.
What was the most important reflecting back on that moment?
Now reflecting
Yes.
back? Ooh. So like what I feel at
Looking
this
back.
moment looking back.
What would you tell her?
Keep doing what you're doing. I don't know what, I can't say I don't know what. I know it was God that was literally just holding my hand throughout the time, because I just had a calmness about me through that period. So I do the same thing. There's nothing that I would change about that point in my life. It was a really awesome time, even though I was homeless. So
I love that. Can you talk about the risk and sacrifices that it took for you to get here, and why? Because for me, when I take certain risks and sacrifices, I'm doing this, but God, I hope this works. I hope this works, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to make it work. Can you talk about having to be in that mindset?
I feel like I'm always in that exact same mindset where you don't know what's going to happen, but you hope for the best. And somewhere along the way, you fall near where you were wanting to be.
Yeah.
And then because you're near, you get even closer the next time you aim, right? So everything is just a set of setting goals, writing it down, and having the capability to disregard all the negative thoughts that enter your mind right before you do it. Because we all have those thoughts, But like we were talking about before we even started filming this, you got to negate those thoughts. You have to cancel them and do it anyway.
100%. And when you go to collaborate with somebody or do a show, what are the biggest things that you look for?
Professionalism, punctuality, being able to have conversation, talk to the people, not having somebody else talk to somebody else to talk to somebody else. I'm like, dude, let me just talk to the person, because people can talk to me.
Yeah.
You know, so I expect the same thing. Just personable. In this industry, you don't really find that many people that are like that, because everybody wants the, you know, the facade in the front and then everything in the back. But I, like you said before, I'm authentic, and I try to just be one-on-one.
What would you tell so we'll call it an 18-year-old girl or guy who wants to be an artist or a creator or an influencer,
Right.
a public figure, and doesn't know what to do, but they're scared? What would your advice to them be?
Trust yourself. If you're a writer in any type of way, write as much as possible, because you got to get repetition. When I was in 6th grade, I didn't write the best songs,
Right.
but I was writing. So I honed in on my craft and kept making it better and better and better. And, you know, every now and again, even now, some songs aren't that great, but then you come across really great ones. So you just got to have repetition, consistency, be okay with getting bored while you're on your journey, because it's going to happen. I remember we had a conversation not too long ago on the phone where we're like, yo, sometimes the repetitiveness, it just gets tiring. It really does.
I feel like you're spinning your wheels.
Right, but all those little steps that you get to, you know, the moments where the people are crying at your show, and the moments that the crowd gets bigger and more people bought the record or more people bought the book, those are things that are milestones. They count, every little one. So you're gonna get bored, and you're gonna get annoyed and tired and all of those things, but keep going. That's my advice. That's what I'd have to say to somebody who's 18 years old trying to do this.
I love that.
Get your reps in.
I think the biggest thing I learned on my journey is community. You know, what does
Right.
your team look like? You know, you have Erica, who's
Yes.
amazing. Shout out Erica. I have my circus behind the cameras. And shout out them. They're all here. They've supported. Actually, my whole team flew in from different states to support me this
wild.
weekend.
It's beautiful.
And they've also flown all around the country to support me. So it's like,
awesome.
when you really chase something, we were having this amazing conversation last night, is, you know, you can't buy that.
No, you
You
cannot.
can't buy it.
You cannot.
And when you get around people who want to do more, and they want to elevate, and they want to learn, they want to be a student of life, and they
Right.
want to become that person they're supposed to, and then you get to, like, my team is great, because I'm sure same with you and Erica, you get to push her, she pushes you, and you guys get to
Yes.
both watch each other evolve into the people that you
Supposed to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is such a beautiful process.
I love it.
So I always talk about how important it is to have a mentor.
Yes.
Can I
I
get
feel like
your
I've had
perspective on
so
that?
many mentors. I can't even list them all, to be honest, but main ones that I can pinpoint are like Carl. You know Carl.
Yes.
And I met my music manager at one point. His name is Tyree. He taught me all the ins and outs of the music industry and how to do it on my own. And being a woman, and him, this is like, you know, I guess cliche or whatever, but him being a man, teaching a woman all the ins and outs, I had so much respect for him, for respecting me and seeing how much I wanted it, and not trying to, like, you know, be shady about anything. He really just was honest and gave me all the facts that I needed, and he saw my drive. So Tyree, Carl, even you inspire me to, you're a mentor to me. Like, I would love to be able to do what you're doing in the sense of going to these schools and talking to these kids. Like, we need more people like you that are giving information that's valuable and inspiring children to not be afraid to chase their dreams. That's awesome to me. And I'm a teacher too, so I value instilling in children what they can be, and you do that. So
Thank you.
You're a mentor to me, even though you're younger than me.
Thank you.
So I mean, there's been tons. I can't even name them all, but
You know, you actually, to piggyback off that, when Carl had helped do our Zoom interview, and you had first said yes. Actually, funny story, I was flying you out for one of our first
Yes.
events.
yes.
And then I think it was weather or
it's
COVID?
weather.
Or was it always?
It was COVID.
It was COVID.
It was COVID. The
COVID
world
got-
shut down.
Yes, the world shut down, and then to those behind the camera, we tried to schedule this a month before, and weather came in.
Yeah.
And you
Can't
you were the
stop this greatness.
No. But you were the first, I'll say, celebrity and public figure that really were like, yeah, you know, I know you have nothing right now, but I believe in you, and I'll let you interview me, and I'll connect with you. And, like, I just want to let you know how much that motivated me, how much it showed me, you know, you're doing the right thing, you should continue to do it.
Definitely.
And how much it inspired me. I was so hyped, and I was so pumped. I was like, I'm doing it. You know, I'm doing the right things.
Absolutely.
And I've learned by taking the action you inspire people, but also doing what you've always said you wanted to do will inspire people, but also working with other people who are bigger or more successful or more famous, that inspires people too.
Yeah.
So I wanted to thank you for giving me the ability to continue to inspire, but also inspiring me.
No, thank you. You're making me tear.
So when you think about impact, because you said, going to the shows and you've written books and sung great songs and collaborated with many, what does impact mean to Natalie Nicole?
Impact is just making a difference. Making a difference in a positive way, preferably. It's simple. That's it. It's just trying to make a difference in as many people's lives as you possibly can in every lane that you're in. So like, I make shirts and they have Evolve on them, that's to make you strive. The book, it's about faith and not being perfect, I'm a Christian woman, but I'm not the perfect woman, right?
Yeah.
So we all sin, and it's highlighting those types of things where you can have a relationship with God and not be a perfect person. And to me, those things are what makes a difference for people, and that's impactful. So that's what impact means to me, making a difference in people's lives in all of those realms.
I love that. My big thing is impact. I love impact. I love perspective. And if I can teach and mentor people to become who they deserve to be. Like I learned it when people started to believe in me. And you, like I said, one of the first to believe in me. So when somebody believes in you and you don't believe in you the way they do, you're like, okay, I need to do something.
Yeah, you got to climb the ladder.
Yes.
However big it is, yeah.
Can we talk about your book?
Yes.
And on what inspired you to write it and how it's changed your life?
It did change my life. You're absolutely right. So I knew I was going to write this book when I was a kid. I just didn't know when. And I knew I was going to have some powerful story to tell. I just didn't know what it was because when I was a kid, I hadn't gone through much yet. But what inspired it was just to be able to have people hear the story in a real way, tell the truth about dark things like molestation, racism, and homelessness, and all these things, and put it in. I call it a pamphlet because it's just the right size. It's not too it's not too big. In this form for them to get it, right? Like me and you can have a conversation. I could tell you and give you some advice, and you can get it. I wanted it to be that way in this book, and that's how I wrote this book. And it's changed my life tremendously. I plan on writing an additional one to like continue the story, but I wrote it to inspire and give hope when you're in the darkest times of your life.
You're such a light to this world.
I try to
be. I love surrounding myself with lights. Can you give our audience the best piece of advice that you've ever received and why?
The best piece of advice that I've ever received, that's a hard one because I've received a lot of advice and I've taken it. Well, first, never giving up. Second is to keep going, like keep mastering overcoming boundaries. That's where I got my slogan from, which is give love, be loved, and be loved. Keep mastering overcoming boundaries. And gosh, I mean, that's it. It's just never giving up and keep doing it. You have to. Everything is repetitive. That's how you build muscles. That's how you change your life. Everything is repetition. So that too.
100%. Natalie, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for dealing with the scheduling conflicts. And we're gonna impact more than one person. But as I always say, if this impacts one person, it was all worth it.
Absolutely.
Wow, you're such a light. I'm so grateful to have you on here. I wanted to remind everybody that you're one connection, one phone call, one email, one text, one DM away from a completely different life. And if you ask, you shall receive with good intention and the good teams. Shout out to Erica and my team. Shout out to Natalie Nicole. Thank you guys for everything this last year. As everybody knows, if you look me up, I did accomplish things I've always wanted to. Yes. And my videographer the other day had asked, what would your 19-year-old self think of you today? And I got really emotional. So I wanted to ask you, what would your 19-year-old self think of you today?
My 19-year-old self would be like, girl, what are you? I'm amazed. She'd be amazed. She'd be proud, and mostly just proud. She'd be proud to get here because it was tough at 19.
Yes. I'm proud of you. I'm
Thank you.
proud of what we've been able to do and what we're going to do. Guys, this is